Right. Too many things to remember, huh?
Yep. All right, YouTube. Let's see if we're going live on YouTube here. If we are live on YouTube, what's up? Just stand by for a second, and we're going to go live on Facebook in just a moment. Yep, we are live on YouTube. Alrighty. Just a couple more seconds on the intro, and we will introduce the show. Stand by. Hello. Welcome to the Necromancer Live Show. I am your host, Justin Brown, and we have another special guest for us this week. Joining us, his name is John Huntington. He's from Maine. We'll let him tell you everything there is to know about himself when we bring him in the show, and we're going to go ahead and do that now. Welcome, John. What's going on, buddy?
Oh, not much. Thanks for having me on. I appreciate it.
No problem, buddy. Thanks for coming on. It's always good to help, support each other and pretty much help, do a little cross promotion. Let people who may be following you know a little bit about me and this show and the stuff I do and vice versa. So it's always cool to do that. All right. I always start off the show by asking the guest, why is it that they investigate the paranormal? Why is it that they try to not only see if there's anything to paranormal phenomena or claims of such? Why do people try to contact the dead? Why do they try to reach out? Explain why you do it in the most personal way possible.
I've had things happen to me throughout my life, and I really didn't realize what I was experiencing until I got into the paranormal. But basically, I'm trying to be able to contact loved ones that's passed. I mean, I'm not. I know a lot of people frown upon that, but I'm just trying to find a way to contact people that were close to me that passed, and trying to do that through the spirit box. Eventually, I'm kind of working towards that. But when I first started, what really got me into it was I moved into this building. It was called the Lucifer's Child building. It was a book written about it, and
Mm-hmm.
there was a little girl named Angela who was put into an oven and burnt to death back in 1984, I believe. And I started doing EVP work there. I just kind of had my phone recording actually and got an EVP saying, "You want to talk, John," on my voice recorder. So, well, actually, it was on my phone. And then I bought a voice recorder um, and started getting EVPs that way. And then I saw a spirit box, so I was like, I'll try that. And I got the little girl in the spirit box talking to me a few times. And after that, it was really, I was wondering why are these children stuck here, or are there something pretending to be children and stuff like that.
Right.
Yeah.
So, can you kind of elaborate a little bit more on your personal experience, like as a child, or the ones that you remember that really got you wondering what the heck that was?
I lived in a house in Cambridge, Maine, um, that we moved out of when I was 7 or 8 because it was haunted. My mom would wake me up in the middle of the night, scared, and we would see shadows in the kitchen moving back and forth. Um, I would try to sleep at night, and there would be this something standing by the bed, just watching me, and I couldn't sleep. Um, we had uh, we had a chainsaw shot up by itself in the basement one time. The radios would come on by itself. Um, we couldn't keep animals there. Um, cats, but we always found our cats dead. Um, and one time I used to go to the bathroom, and it would be these hands in the window. I'd see these hands coming out of the window, and I would just stand there and freeze up, and and I would tell people about it, but no one really believed me except my mom, which was experiencing the same thing. Um, but every place I seemed to move, I would have stuff happen to me. Um, there was one place I moved in, the older Orchard Beach, Maine. Um, there was that was pretty haunted. They would turn the radio on there to we'd hear voices out loud, stuff like that. Or turn on electronic things. Um, so I didn't even really pay much attention to it till later on. I started doing this, and I'm like, wait a minute, all this stuff's been happening to me, my whole life, and just kind of realized it once I got older.
Right. So you've had a lot, pretty much experience-wise happen throughout your life. Was it only a specific place, or did it seem like everywhere you went?
Everywhere I went, pretty much. Um, but the last building that I lived in, the Lucifer's Child's one, that's the one that really, pushed me over the edge to start doing this. The EVPs were pretty crazy, and I also worked at a YMCA at the time that was haunted in Auburn, Maine.
Really?
Yeah, and it was cool there. I worked there, and they would allow me to do ghost hunting after work, which was pretty neat. But yeah, the activity seemed to ramp up when I started working there. Like the front desk people were scared to go in alone in the mornings and things like that. So.
Yeah, I would say sounds like you're haunted.
I was just gonna say that, but
Yeah, I think that's interesting. A lot of people wonder if it's them or the places that they're at, and that's why I always ask. Does it seem like stuff happen everywhere you go? Because some people are more sensitive than others, and some people experience more than others. And I tend to wonder, and I try to find ways to actually prove on the research end if people have certain abilities or sensitivities to paranormal phenomena versus other people who may not. Do you feel like you do have those abilities?
I don't know. I wouldn't call them abilities really.
Wonder if it's them or the places that they're at.
But yeah, I know I've gone to like places like the GRCC in Rumford, Maine, and the first time I was there, um, I asked if there was any spirits there, if they could scream out loud, and within a few seconds we heard a girl scream out loud, and everybody's like, "Well, get out of here!" Must have been, maybe somebody screeching tires down the road or something like that. So I'm like, okay, I'll ask again. So I asked again, and same thing. Within a few seconds, it was a scream out loud, and um, just I don't know. I do have some kind of weird connection with spirit box. It seems like, but I can almost feel it. Like I can almost feel the connection when I'm doing it. But I don't know if everybody feels that or not. But and when they don't,
I've heard that they do. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's interesting, John. I think that it's very possible that you may have some type of thing going on, especially if you go to places that you're investigating or trying to find, something to the claims. Does the same things that you have experienced other places happen there? Do you get the same response, ITC responses at different locations?
I've had this same girl's voice come over a bunch of times in different locations. When I first started, I went all the way to like Bobby Mackey's, and she came over the box. And I'd come back to GRCC, and the same voice would come over the box. But I haven't had that voice for a long time, but it did seem like there was one particular female spirit that was following me around. She even asked me to marry her with a spirit box a few times.
Wow.
which is pretty scary.
Did you ever learn her name?
I believe it was Anna. It was Anna, I believe.
That's a very common name.
It is, yeah.
Yeah, I started this show to basically discuss ITC specifically, but we talk about all kinds of things. But I know you do a lot of ITC work using spirit boxes. Here's a pretty juicy question I'm about to ask you. How do you face skepticism when it comes to the spirit box? What do you try to do to validate or to, make your research specifically more believable to a skeptic, a group of skeptics, or do you even try to do that? What have you been doing on that front?
Well, I've done spirit box sessions where I've written down words on paper and stuff like that, and just to see if they can read it or see it, and they've responded to that. They've said the word I've written down. A lot of people think that's, it's your mind projecting what you're seeing, and but I've also gotten them to repeat words. You know, people hold up fingers, stuff like that. I've pointed to I've pointed to things in rooms, and they tell me what it is, and or people online. I pointed to pictures online, or family members, and like family member pictures. They told me who the pictures were, or famous people. Like I got a video where I'm holding up. I have a sports magazine. I'm holding it up, and it's telling me Tom Brady or Peyton Manning, or stuff like that. So I mean that's kind of hard to debunk, but I know a lot of people think that you're hearing what you want to hear too. So I don't know. It's hard to really.
Hmm.
I mean, sometimes I just disbelieve myself. I have to watch like past videos just to remind me that it is real and that I am getting these responses. And I mean, for it to
Right.
say my last name over the spirit box, or swear, like swear very loudly. I mean, it's
Hmm.
pretty impossible.
Yeah, I mean, I I feel the same way. There's a lot of people out there that are trying to discredit what you do, and you want to have an open mind. You want to kind of look at it and ask yourself, "Hey, am I crazy? Are they right?" And then it kind of makes you a little torn. But then there's always those moments where you know that, hey, I know this one time it was legit. Are these other times legit? Probably so. You always leave that possibility. At least I do, that it could be what they're saying. It could be, pareidolia, or it could be something that you're trying to think is something when it's actually not. But the spirit box research I've done in the last 4 years has brought me to a point where I have to force myself to do things that when you get something, you can't say it's one thing or the other, like doing just pure white noise, or just not sweeping, staying on one channel, and just doing other stuff like that. And you get way, way, way less, obviously. But when you do get something, it's rare and it's awesome. But you know when it comes to how much you're trying to get, like if you spend all this money and time and location just listening to static, it can get very, very not only boring but pretty frustrating. So I see why people lean towards other ways, using apps and using radio sweep devices. But what do you think is the mechanic involved with how they manipulate or how they use the radio frequencies? What do you think is happening?
Well, I'm not sure. I actually tried this experiment with different frequencies and like pink noise and brown noise
Hmm.
mixed together, and I actually had voices come through. I had a woman's voice. I said, if you can speak through this brown noise at I think it was like 29.5, the frequency, whatever. And
Hmm.
in the voice, I said, if you can hear me, let me know. And you can hear a girl faintly say, "I can hear you." So I don't know. Like I know the spirit box. It seems like they manipulate the words that are coming through to say what they want, but it's hard to really put a finger on how they actually are communicating. But
Right.
you know, I'm always open to trying new things and new ways. And
Hmm.
but,
What this is an idea I always tell guys that do spirit box work. Have you ever heard of an FM transmitter? It's where I've seen it used is it's like a little box. You can plug like a 1/4 inch microphone with a 1/4 inch input into it, and you can talk over it. And there's going to be a receiver somewhere, like for a Halloween setup, to where you can talk through the speaker. It's like an FM transmitter. I had a buddy of mine that I investigated with that kind of suggested that I use that. And the way it could be used is if you plug your spirit box into the transmitter and record what goes into the spirit box before it's transmitted through it, and then record what comes out on the other end and cross check it, you can kind of prove if they're manipulating the frequencies in between, if that makes sense.
yeah, that's a great idea.
So when I get this setup started, probably sometime in early 2018, I'm going to show you the exact setup so you can try it, because I want all the ITC researchers I know trying this, because the experiment I tried at the beginning of this show when I started was I just took two SB7s, synced them up, and cross-checked the two to where they swept exactly the same and see if one was different than the other. And I haven't got any luck with that. So I'm thinking that maybe they could possibly be doing their thing before it hits the antenna. So that might be another way we can test things to see if we can prove or find out what's going on. So if you're interested in that, I will definitely show you the full setup once I get it started here in a couple months, I'd say.
Yeah, it's a great idea. I never even thought about doing that.
Yeah, well, that's what I do. I try to spend all my time thinking of ways to, try to figure it out, and it's really, really hard. But that's mostly what I do. Where do you primarily do spirit box research at? Do you try to go to places? Do you have like one place specifically you go to, or do you just do it anywhere and everywhere?
I do it at home, but the few paranormal groups that I'm in, I do it at different locations, and I do it in front of groups of people, sometimes up to 40 people, uh, which is kind of cool too if they all hear the same thing at the same time. Um, and people get a kick out of hearing their name over it, live. And but yeah, I do it just about anywhere. I don't do it like in cars or I've been to the grave cemeteries a few times, but I'm not really too big on going to the cemetery. But yeah, mostly at home,
All
and
right.
I travel quite a bit to different locations. As far as I've gone is like Ohio area, Ohio, Indiana, Illinois. So
Mm-hmm.
I noticed that
Where?
I noticed that some haunted locations, Spirit Box does work better. Seem to get more replies, more clear replies than you would sitting in your
Right.
house.
Where? Just out of curiosity, where have you been in Ohio?
Actually, maybe I wasn't. I went to like 5 different locations in 6 days. I think I missed the Ohio one actually, but I did go to Indiana and Illinois. Went to Malvern Manor, Phyllis Gax Murder House, uh, just the Roadway Inn. Um, I'm not serious in Malvern.
What about that art center? I know you went with Josh to Toledo, right? Didn't you? Weren't you in Toledo?
Yeah, I didn't make it for that last one. I didn't make it.
Okay,
I had to fly back, but I went to every other one that he went to.
that's cool. Where's your favorite place in Maine then? What's up with Maine and the haunts there?
My favorite place, Mill Agent's house in Vassalboro, Maine. Um, I'm not sure. I don't think they let you in the apartment part of it. It's this big like mansion, but Ray, the owner, he rents out. he rents out some of the apartments now, so to some psychic, I believe, and so it's hard to get in there now. But I had a chance to go there like 3 or 4 times, and it was just, I mean, it was amazing. I mean, we heard we heard little kids' voices out loud. Um, we got some really crazy EVPs, um, and the spirit box was just nonstop. And we had some spirits actually touch your hand when you ask them to, and they would say over the spirit box, you know, that they touched you, or you know, or your hand. I asked, did you touch me? And they said, yes, I touched you, or I touched your hand. They said over the spirit box at the same time, and they just like barely would touch your hand, but you could feel it. And the place
Wow.
is just amazing. Yeah, it's an amazing place.
I've only been touched once, and but it was pretty profound. I find it that some people get touched more than others, and I don't know why. Have you been touched a lot?
Yeah. Um, the touches I've had haven't been bad. Like some of my, you know, my friend Corey Hines, and he usually gets scratched a lot. I've just had I've had the light touches, and I've had like the cobweb feeling. You know what I mean? Just pushing through
Yeah,
cobwebs, and it's like like electrically charged. And the
right.
ones that I've felt have actually been kind of like a happy feeling. It hasn't been like most people say it's, you know, it's kind of a bad feeling, but it's actually made me happy, like a happy kind of feeling. It's not nothing bad.
Hmm.
So that's the kind
Have
of
you
stuff.
ever had an bad experience?
Um, Nothing horrible, no, I can think of. I mean, I've had things follow me back where, you know, it would make you kind of depressed for a while, um,
Hmm.
and then it would wear off, or have things follow you home that might move something in your apartment or something like that. But I haven't had any real bad experiences that I can think of.
Well, that's good. Um, let's kind of want to talk tech real quick with you. What do you primarily use as far as spirit boxes go?
Um, my favorite one is the 12589 um, Radio Shack. Um, you know, so like I have a 469. It's like in a 470 case, and
Hmm.
I like that one. That's one of my favorite ones to use. And there's some other ones, but those two are mainly my favorite ones.
Now, is the shack hack, that's a linear sweep, right? It doesn't gate in between the sweeps.
Yeah, it's just a linear.
Yeah, I find those way better when it comes to spirit box. I liked it like SB7 types, but I think the gating kind of works, you know, maybe against, you know, spirits trying to come in between the stations. I don't know. What do you think about that? Do you like linear sweeps better than gated sweeps?
Yeah, I believe so. I like, you know, I've had SB7s and stuff like that before. And I tried the SB11. Um, I've had, you know, some good success with them, but yeah, I find that the shack hacks are definitely the way to go, um, for very clear responses. Um,
Hmm.
it seems to help with like a little echo or reverb too. Um, I use like a cheap karaoke machine or something like that, just for a little bit of reverb. Seems to clear it up a little bit. Um, I haven't really used any portals or anything like that.
What's your thought on the portals?
I mean, they sound good. Um, I just think they're a little expensive to make. I mean, I know you can make them cheaper, but um, I tried one at the last event I was at. It had some good clear responses to it, but it seems like you miss some. You know, it seems like you miss some of the
Hmm.
responses. It just clears it out too much. You ever used one before? Or?
No, I don't use anything like that. I've seen them used quite a bit. Um, and I've seen a crap load of them used over the internet. And like you said, they are very expensive. But I don't try to lean towards, I use white noise. I don't try to eliminate white noise. So I don't use the, reduction pedals, and I don't add any effects because what I try to do is not, you know, add things to my, what I get, because when the target audience I'm looking for is more of a scientific field. So
Yeah.
when I present something to them, I don't want to tell them, hey, I added this effect to it. You know what I'm saying? It's almost like adding like some kind of equalization or something like that. You want it to be class A, pure, and with nothing. But I do understand why people add those things, and they're trying to mess around with the audio quality and the style, what they're doing, which is fine. I think everybody should be trying what they think works. And if they're getting results from it, that's great. But the portals, man, especially with certain people in the field that use the portals, I don't see myself personally doing that. Um, but I am open to seeing some good stuff coming out of them. It's just I haven't got a chance to use it myself. But I always ask people what they use, what they think is good, what they think is bad. What could you tell me is something that you don't think is legit or that doesn't work at all?
Um, well, I think some devices have a little too much reverb in them,
Hmm.
and then just kind of the responses you can make just about anything out of it. You know what I mean? Like it's so much. I mean, I don't want to talk bad about the Geobox because it does work well, but it's just so watered down with so much reverb that you could take a three-syllable word and make it just about anything you wanted to. So I think there's too much
Right.
reverb.
Yeah, that's the thing, man. When you start adding all that stuff to it, you're adding all kinds of unnecessary things that could taint or contaminate what is coming through. And the pareidolia is a big thing for me. I mean, do you try to look out for pareidolia type things when you do your research?
Yeah, usually when I'm going over my audio and I think I hear something, I try to look away from the screen or whatever and just try to listen to it a few times just to make sure that it is what's coming over the box, not just something I'm thinking of. Or I know sometimes people think adding the words to the screen kind of you know makes you think that's the word that's coming through. So sometimes
Hmm.
I'll watch people's videos and I'll just turn away for a minute and listen to it and see if that's actually what I'm hearing. I know a lot of videos just look like they're just throwing up words on the screen and nothing's actually said that I can hear.
Right.
So I try to stay away from that. But um,
Do you ever put videos out there with no subtitles whatsoever?
yeah, I put a few live ones out there with no subtitles. Like last week there was one and it said "f you" like really loud and everybody watching it heard it. So
Hmm.
I didn't really need to subtitle that at all. Um, and other people that was saying there was a guy named Dwayne and I asked him if they could say Dwayne for him and his name came through perfectly clear. But I know some people think, well, if you're asking them to say that, it's putting their thought process into the name, and that's what they're hearing. But I mean, some things that come through is no doubt what it is. Even if you put words up, it's not manipulating what you're hearing.
Yeah, what you said kind of remind me of the whole double blind ghost box experiment thing. Are you familiar with that?
Is that when they wear a blindfold and ear uh, headphones, and then you just
Yeah.
ask
Yeah,
questions?
one person asks the spirits questions, and the other guy kind of wears a blindfold and listens to the ghost box, the
Yep.
headphones, and he just reports what he hears and see if it correlates with the questions.
Yeah, I've seen some people do that. I haven't tried it myself, but I saw Kindred Spirits do that, and Haunt Me also did that. They had pretty good results with it too. So um,
Yeah, I think that would kind of rule out that the power of suggestion argument that you hear. So there's a lot of things you can do, but at the end of the day, until we can figure out a way to prove things, it's all just subjective. And but you know, if you do get like crazy responses where it can answer how many fingers you're holding up on your hand 10 times in a row or whatever, you know, I've had sessions to where it only says something when you ask it, and it's right on. Like, it's rare as heck, but those are the craziest ones. You just kind of have to scratch your head like, whoa. The last time I can remember is I went to Prospect Place, not last year, but I think the year before. And it was just white noise until you asked something, and then it would answer your name. It would say that, you know, how many fingers you were holding up. It would answer every question, almost every question, like full sentences sometimes. And that blew my mind. And it just makes you think, like, you know, maybe some places or some things can do much better than others. And depending on what device you're using may have a huge impact on what kind of responses you get. It's just crazy right now as far as that method of investigation goes. But I was going to also ask you, what other things do you do that not only communicate with the dead, but try to document rather paranormal phenomena? Do you use anything else?
Mostly just voice recorders. I mean, we have like a lot of equipment in the different groups I'm in. We have like SLS cameras, and you know, we use grid lights, things like that. But mostly I'm into spirit box and EVPs, and you know, I get stuck on things sometimes. I was stuck on EVPs forever, so, and then I tried the spirit box out, and I've been stuck on that. So, but what you were saying about them repeating words multiple times, I've had them multiple times ask them to say the word, you know, ghost, and they said it at least. I mean, it was like 10 times in a row, clearly. So I'm like, there's no way that it's going to say that 10 times in a row in a sweep. You know?
Yeah. Yeah, it's sometimes you get something that's really, really crazy, and you just have to ask yourself, well, why was that any different from anything else? And it's almost like, you know, for example, if you and your buddy got a walkie-talkie and you went into this one location and you keyed it up and you sound crystal clear, but maybe if you went into another location, it didn't quite sound good because of this, that, or the other, right? So you have to wonder if there's other factors that play in when you go out to do this thing. You try to replicate and you try to get the same result, but there seems to be something causing you to get different results. And that's what I like to try to find out and to focus on. Have you tried to determine what those things may be, like whether it be weather or time of day, year, or anything like that?
You know, the weirdest thing, I used to get the best results at like 6 o'clock at night. Like, I know people say the witching hour, or the devil's hour, or
Mm-hmm.
whatever, but I used to do, if I did it at 6 o'clock at night, I would get the best results. And this is gonna sound strange, but say you're all cooped up inside for, I don't know, like say it's a winter and you're cooped up inside all day, you know, you're just about to go crazy. I've noticed that's the best time to get replies, is when you're just about out of your skull, pretty much. That's when they start communicating with you better. I can't put my finger on it why, but
Right.
I've noticed that.
If anybody on the live chat on Facebook or YouTube has a question for John, start asking. I'm trying to monitor the comments now. I know some of you asked me some questions, but I want to try to leave the questions just for John. You guys can answer or ask me anything at any time. But if you have anything for John, I'm eager to know what questions you have for him. John, do you work for, or you do stuff for a group called 5 Paranormal Investigations? Is that correct?
Yes, I help them with different events um, all over. It's like the New England states, basically. Um,
That's cool. That's cool. Do you are you allowed to say who you work with? What like their group names?
Yeah, I work with Graves Paranormal, Maine Paranormal Society, which is part of it's like the TAPS family group of Maine, um, and of course 555 Paranormal. Uh, so yeah, I get pretty busy sometimes, but yeah, sometimes it can be overwhelming. Um, I work like 60 hours a week, so I don't really start to find time to go out and
Wow.
yeah. So
What is it that you do for 60 hours a week, John? If you don't mind me asking.
I do maintenance at the place called Texas Instruments. Um,
Oh, that's cool.
it's a lot of walking. I walk like 8 to 10 miles a night. So
Brenda Castellano says John Graves rocks. Do you know anything about John Graves?
Graves Paranormal. Uh, that's like the main group that I'm in most of the time. They're at a Rumford. Brenda's the psychic on the team, um, and we do a lot of our investigations at the Greater Rumford Community Center. We've had a lot of teams go there. There's a Haunt Me episode that went there. Um, that's the place where I heard the screams at. They've moved balls there. They're really active there. Just about every time we go. We're really lucky to be able to go there. Um, we have they give us the keys to go in basically whenever we want.
Nice.
Yeah, we've done events there, so that and we give the money back to the community center to keep it open. So it's good for everyone.
Yeah, man, that's really cool. You mentioned you work with psychics. Is that something that you like doing? Do you have a lot of belief in psychic abilities that people have? And what do you think about doing paranormal research with psychics? Do you try to find ways to correlate what you find with what they say without prior knowledge and stuff like that?
Um, at first, I was really skeptical about it, uh, but I've seen them be spot on about things they wouldn't know. I've watched I've watched Brandy Wells do psychic readings on a group, and I was really skeptical about her at first. I mean, she's a great person and everything, but once I got to see her read these people, I was pretty convinced. And I've noticed too that psychics that do spirit box and stuff like that, they get excellent replies. Like, I don't know if it's because they're psychic or what, but they get excellent, clear replies.
Brenda says you look awesome. I'm trying to get him to ask you questions, but that's all the kind of comments that I'm getting.
Oh, man. Well, I'm glad I look good on camera. That's good.
He's nice and shiny and shaved and ready to go. Hey, buddy, do you want to try to fire up the? Yeah, dude, it's got a nice little shine. You can tell that you've got some product on it. All right, let's not get too out of hand here. Let's fire up the ghost box. Do you think you might have any luck with that? You said earlier you might.
Yeah, I can try it. I'll try to bring it over here.
What do you think, viewers? Do you want John to do a ghost box session on this show right now? What say you?
I don't know. They're awfully quiet.
Well, we got right now it looks like we got I can't see like at least 11 viewers on Facebook and 4 on YouTube.
Oh.
There was quite a bit more on Facebook earlier, but
they got bored.
Maybe we got 12 now, so
okay.
we've been retaining at least 10 or 11.
That's good.
So we at least got to do something for Josh because he's watching.
Hey, Josh.
Julie Biggs says yes. Josh Bender says yes. Missy Vastine says yes. Sam says hell yes. Brenda mentioned that you like to make faces tonight. He is serious.
Yeah, I'm usually not a serious person, so I try to make investigations as fun as possible. So
There's nothing wrong with that. Dale asks a question. He says, what is John's views on people being empath or clairvoyant, and is he or anyone else on his team have such abilities?
Brandy's supposed says she's an empath. I've had Spirit Box say that I'm an empath, but I don't know. I don't really know what to say about that, really.
Do you know what an empath is?
Not really. I know I hear it everywhere. There's just so many names for things. Yeah.
Well, basically, an empath, what my definition of it is someone who can sense other feelings from other things and even thoughts, but mostly it has to do with vibes and feelings and stuff, either from living people and people who have passed, and maybe even other things that are not human at all. But anything that can give off an emotional energy or an emotional signature they can pick up on. And it's more to do with feeling than seeing and hearing. So does that kind of give you a brief description?
Yeah. I mean, I do kind of sense people's feelings when I'm around them. And I kind of react to it. Like if somebody's down, I kind of feel it and I kind of react in the same manner with them. If you can understand what that means.
Right.
But I can also feel it, like when I'm doing Spirit Box or investigating, I can feel them. I can feel the spirits around me sometimes. You can get, I think everybody can get this, the feeling if it's bad or good or what's around them.
Yeah, there's always this list that I always read off to see if you're empathic or not. There's like actually 22 on this particular list. If you are an empath, people point out if you've been told, well, hold on to pop-up badges. If you've been told all your life, if you are sensitive, overly emotional, or wear your heart on your sleeve, people tell you that you pick up cues or feelings they don't even notice. Number 2 is you feel others' feelings. Number 3 is negativity overwhelms you. Number 4 is being in crowded places overwhelms you.
Yeah.
Number 5 is strong intuition. Number 6 is pain intolerance. It skips number 7 for some reason. Number 8, you avoid negative media images. 9, you can easily tell when someone is lying. 10, you are more sensitive to stimulants and medications. 11, you often show up with symptoms of those around you, kind of like what you were saying before. 12, you frequently have lower back and digestive problems. 13, you are a dumping ground for the problems of others. You often feel fatigued. You have a very vibrant inner life. You are sensitive to sounds and sensory feelings. You don't like too many things at once. You manage your environment. It's a whole bunch of things. I'm not going to read them all off. There's a few more. But those are interesting, little tell signs that maybe you are an empath. Do you have any of those?
Yeah, just about everyone you said. I don't like to be in crowds and just about everything you said on there, except for like stimulants and stuff like that. But, everything else, yeah, it's pretty spot on.
All right. Well,
I like the old.
You may want. Yeah, if you may want to look into it more if you think so, but just all depends on what you're into. Did you still want to do a quick spirit box session before the end of the show, or?
Sure, we can try it.
Okay.
I can't be too loud here. I got people living next to me. So.
All right, we'll try it, download, and see what it sounds like.
All right, I'll bring it over here so I can see it a little bit.
So John's gonna go grab it. an ITC device, and we're going to see if we can get any responses on it. Dale Leonard says, and as far as clairvoyancy, I'm able to see and capture images of spirits, as well as in certain energy is around. I get goosebumps while others don't, and I usually am able to tell someone how they are feeling, and before they actually tell me, and I have bad acid reflux.
Oh, I have bad acid reflux too. Really
Yeah,
bad acid reflux.
I seen you chugging on the milk. That's probably why, huh?
Oh, the water.
Oh, it was water. Oh, I thought it was milk.
No, I do have it bad. I have to take Nexium like every day.
Okay. I used to before I went on a diet.
Yeah, I need to go on a better diet. That's my problem. I eat a lot of Hungry Mans.
Oh, those are like horrible.
I know, I just love them though.
They are good, man, but they're bad.
Yeah, they have like nothing but sodium in them.
Yep.
All right, I'll try firing this up.
Okay.
I'll turn it around so you can see it.
If the viewers have any questions for John to ask, let me know in the comments.
I'd already said John, but I think it was a commercial. If there's any spirits here, can you say the name Justin, please? John, yes. That's my name. Can you say Justin, please? Can you hear it okay?
Yes, I can hear great.
If you're here with us, can you say hello? Help. If you're here and you need help, say help again, please. People are watching you, spirits. Can you say hello to these people? What? Sound like I said you're a dick. That's what I heard. They haven't called me names lately, so.
Have you been naughty lately or something?
I don't know. They called me asshole a bunch of times. I'm hoping they'll swear live. That's what I'm looking for.
Yeah, when you hear that, that's not supposed to come across.
Right. Spirits, there's a bunch of people watching you. Can you say it? Can you say a swear? How many fingers am I holding up right now, spirits? No, not 5. How many do you see?
I heard 3.
Did you? Okay. I think my hearing's going. Trying to think of something I can hold up. If you can see me, what am I doing right now?
Sam said that they heard heard, or she rather, I think she's a she, heard you being mocked, and she's heard that if you're mocked, it could be demonic. Have you ever had that happen before?
Yeah, I've actually had them come over in my daughter's voice before and say, "Help me, Daddy." And
No shit.
Yeah, that really freaked me out.
Yeah. That's a bunch of nope.
Yeah. What did she hear them say? Like.
There's a delay, so I'm not quite sure. Would have to go back in the review and see after it posts.
Spirits, if you're mocking me, can you say mocking, please? I thought I heard it right after I said it. Are you a demon? If you are, say demon, please. That sounds like it.
I've been hearing things that you ask for, like bits of what you've asked for, a lot.
Yeah. Devil. I just heard devil. Devil again. Spirits, if there's an evil spirit here, can you say evil, please? If there's good spirits here, can you say good, please? Not really feeling a connection at all, or not really.
Do you usually try to do anything? Do you have a ritual before you fire up the box, or do you just turn it on?
No, I usually just turn it on. I'll usually ask a few questions, like if they're dead, to say the word dead, and then after that, they usually come through pretty clearly. If you can hear me, spirits, and you're dead, can you say the word dead, please? Dead is one. Wasn't very clear. Kind of shaking, sorry.
You're like Parkinson's disease over there.
Right? All Sorry, Spirits. I'm gonna shut this off. Can you say goodbye? John, yes. Can you say goodbye, please? Or do you want to keep talking? If you want to keep talking, say talk, please. Goodbye. Goodbye and good night. Well, I think they didn't show up too well this time, but
Yeah, all the times that I've tried to do sessions on the show, they've been far and few between, and you just don't have a lot of success when you want to. And generally, it takes a lot of sessions to actually get a real good one, in my experience.
right. I mean, sometimes I can go live and they're talking up a storm, saying people's names, and then other times it's nothing. So.
Mm-hmm. All right. Well, we've been doing this for an hour. I think I've asked you some pretty good questions. You've gave me some pretty good answers. Why don't you tell the viewers where they can find you on social media and on the web so they can check out some of your stuff?
I have a YouTube channel. It's just under my name, John Huntington. And I have a page on Facebook. It's called Huntington. And also you can check out the 555 Paranormal Productions. We do events like once or twice a month in different haunted locations throughout New England. You can also check out Maine Paranormal Society. They're on Facebook. And Graves Paranormal. You can check them out too. They're all great groups. So yeah, I'm glad some people watched. And sorry the spare box didn't come through. It's probably because I'm a little nervous. So like,
I had stage fright.
Yeah.
Well, John, I really appreciate you coming on. I'm glad you didn't have to work. It was awesome talking to you, man. I always like, talking to other paranormal researchers out there and helping, not only getting your name out there, but just getting to know people and, what they're about. This is like a better way for me to not only get to know you, but to get everybody that follows me, get them, in the mix as far as, who I hang out with, who I talk to. I just love doing this, man. It's really cool. And, like I said, it's been awesome just talking to you just for this hour.
All right, you too. I appreciate it. Appreciate having me on. And feel free to talk to me anytime.
All right. Well, Josh Bender says you're a good guy. I have to concur with that. You seem like an all-around smooth operator. It would be awesome to go out and do some stuff like some investigation or even just at a Paracon or something. I know you live all the way up in Maine, but I'm optimistic that maybe one day we'll all get together and do something cool.
Yeah, sounds good. Definitely look forward to it.
All right, John. Well, you can either get off here or you can hang out on the Google Hangouts call. I'm going to end the show, and you have a good night.
Yeah, you too. I appreciate it.
All right. All right. Well, guys, there you have it. John Huntington from Maine. He's a really smooth, guy. He's really calm, really relaxed, really chill, and I like that about him. Please check out his YouTube channel and all of his links that he plugged there at the end. I've actually heard some pretty crazy spirit box sessions that he's posted. Let me know what you think. Please, promote and, get to know everybody that comes on the show. And so at the very least, subscribe to his YouTube channel because, every little help like that, with people providing that content for free gives them a little bit more incentive to do so. So head over to his YouTube channel and give him a sub. And that I bet he would really appreciate that. So before I end the show, I'm going to let you know the guys that are coming up. Next Wednesday at 9 p.m. Eastern, we have Adam Kimmel of Resident Undead coming on the show. So if you know anything about Adam, stop by next week, Wednesday at 9 p.m. EST, for a sit down and chat with Adam. I'm going to also list off my patrons here. Matt Benton, Rachel Scott, Liz Coy, and Jason Boggs have all donated to the Patreon page. And with their help, every little bit helps. We can, try to help fund all this scientific paranormal research we're doing, all the production work we're doing. I'm going to send off, if you want to stick around for a little bit, I'm going to show you a promotional video about our Patreon. If you are interested in joining our Patreon, you can do so. But until then, thanks very much, guys, for joining us. I appreciate you tuning in each and every week. Check out my very own internet website called interfacedeath.net. Check out everything we do. If you haven't already, subscribe to the mailing list, subscribe to our YouTube channel at Interface Death. And until next time, you guys take it easy, and I'll see you in the next one.